to be self-motivated. You cannot be looking for outside validation, right? A lot of times people need the outside stimulus in order to get up and to get going. You've got to be able to find that within, because if not, you dead in the water, right? Because people are going to come and go in your life. People are going to support you at some times and not at others. And so you've got to be consistent with being able to be self-motivated.
It's fine to say we are not all like this. It's fine to say, I would rather see us elevate beyond this. But to deny it is what started to annoy me.
And I'm going to tell you something. It made me feel some kind of way about you. That's the real problem.
But I didn't know it was going to turn into all this. Oh,
well, I didn't know it was going to turn into.
I believe that.
There's always something that we can be learning, growing, perfecting, shaping, molding, right? The minute we stop evolving, we're dead.
Me in your life, and you kept up over and over. You violated my privacy. You violated my space. You did it behind my back. I almost died.
I understand.
You understand? So I don't have time for this negative energy.
Welcome back to StarHush, where the tea never sleeps and the drama stays boiling. Let's get straight into it, because the streets are buzzing louder than ever, and this time it's all about Kirk and Rasheeda. Yes, that Kirk, the man who gave cheater a whole new definition, and that Rasheeda, the boss babe behind Pressed Boutique. After riding the love and hip-hop wave for over a decade, this duo is officially done, finished, canceled, and not just by fans, but by Mona Scott Young herself. Yep, it's giving end of an era energy, but honestly, nobody's shocked. If anything, people are wondering what took so long, because this sudden crash and burn from reality royalty status didn't come out of nowhere. The signs were all there. According to inside sources, Mona didn't just cut ties for drama's sake. She reportedly pulled the plug because Kirk and Rasheeda weren't following contract guidelines. And even worse, viewers just weren't locked in anymore. That sparkle, that mess that made them ratings gold, gone. And now, instead of owning up to it, Kirk and Rasheeda are out here pointing fingers like they didn't have a whole decade of storyline to clean up. Acting like they didn't milk every single scandal for screen time. Please, let's be real. Kirk and Rasheeda were love and hip-hop Atlanta. From the early days of emotional breakdowns, outside babies, and jaw-dropping cheating confessions, they kept fans tuned in. Whether you loved them or dragged them, they kept eyes on the screen. Rasheeda had her boutique popping, and Kirk was, well, busy doing everything but being faithful. Still, they stayed on our screens. But behind the scenes, it's been looking real messy. Sources say Mona got tired, it's like over it tired. Word is, things between her and the Frosts started going left a few seasons back. That's when Rasheeda, once the quiet ride or die, started allegedly pulling diva moves. She wanted final say on scenes, refused to film anything that didn't fit her boss brand, and was constantly pushing to rewrite storylines that didn't paint her in a glowing light. Now, girl, what brand exactly? The long-suffering wife aesthetic? The silent partner to chaos? Because that's been the narrative for years. Fans have seen it all. From Kirk handing out heartbreak like business cards to Rasheeda quietly holding on while selling clothes and quoting affirmations. And now that the cameras aren't rolling, suddenly it's everybody else's fault. It's giving delusion. It's giving too late for rebranding. The fans have moved on, the ratings have dipped, and Mona said, time's up. She's not playing favorites anymore, especially with cast members who want control without bringing the chaos that made Love and Hip Hop what it is.
What was the text messages?
The only reason they're gone is because we were arguing about some that don't even matter. And you know me, I'm energy only. Her energy is negative. I don't.
And baby, it just kept getting messier from there. Word is Rasheeda straight up stormed out of a production meeting, loud and bold, telling folks she didn't need the show anymore. Like, girl, weren't you just using that same show to push your boutique and your lip gloss line? And while she was burning bridges in the boardroom, Kirk wasn't doing any better behind the scenes either. Insiders say he kept showing up late, forgetting his call times, and was out here acting like the crew was his personal assistant squad, treating the staff like they were below him. After all these years, talk about biting the hand that fed you. And let's not ignore the low-key drama that started popping up about unpaid dues and sneaky brand deals he allegedly didn't clear with production. How you fumble the same platform that made your whole brand known in the first place. Make it make sense. Together, Kirk and Rasheeda went from being reality TV's go-to couple, messy but magnetic, to being labeled a production nightmare by insiders. But Mona, she kept them on for years, even when they were bringing chaos to the set. Why? Because the viewers were hooked on their messy storylines, the cheating, the arguing, the fake makeups, and side-eye forgiveness. It was TV gold. But even patience runs out, and Mona, sis was over it. Everything came to a head during what should have been a chill filming day. The crew had everything set up, simple shoot, nothing dramatic, focused on Kirk's newest hustle. But the second Rasheeda walked in, the energy shifted fast. Sources say she came in hot, already irritated, and instantly clashing with producers over the scene layout. And from there, it spiraled.
It can make me super angry at times and shut down, or it can make me snap the out and, I'm human.
And that's when it exploded. Literally, Rasheeda didn't just walk in with an attitude, she came in swinging with accusations. Sis said producers were setting her up to look bad, that the whole storyline was fake and she wasn't about to play herself on national TV. Then boom, she popped off right there on set. Sources say she was yelling so loud, you could hear her from outside the studio. She called out producers by name, said they were sabotaging her, spinning lies, and doing her dirty on purpose. And baby, she wasn't bluffing. Rasheeda threatened to walk off the whole show mid-scene. It got so intense that security had to step in just to keep it from turning into a full-on meltdown. And right when the crew thought it couldn't get more chaotic, Kirk jumped into the mess, yelled, "Cut the cameras, dead it," like he was running things. He backed Rasheeda all the way, calling the crew fake, trashing the production, and then, get this, he went behind Mona's back to contact network executives, trying to cancel the entire shoot. Now pause and let that sink in. That tantrum alone reportedly cost production thousands of dollars. And in this game, time is money. Mona was already fed up with their diva behavior and the endless disrespect, but then she caught wind of something that took it to a whole new level. Multiple insiders spilled that Kirk and Rasheeda had allegedly been leaking tea to bloggers, bad-mouthing the show's editors and producers, blaming them for all their bad edits. But they weren't just dragging folks online. They were allegedly in secret talks with another network, pitching their own spin-off about their business, their marriage, and their so-called real-life drama. And here's the kicker. The concept they were pushing? It was basically a bootleg version of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Same marriage drama, same hustle and grind storyline, same we're entrepreneurs and parents trying to juggle life vibe. Everything they built under Mona, they tried to package and sell somewhere else without her. So at that point, it wasn't just tension anymore. It was full-blown betrayal. Mona didn't just see them as cast anymore. She saw them as enemies. They used her platform, then tried to flip it and compete with her like she wouldn't find out. They didn't just bite the hand that fed them. They ran off and tried to open their own restaurant with the same recipe. But here's where things took a sharp left. After dropping Kirk and Rasheeda like a phone with no signal, Mona didn't just stay quiet. No, ma'am. She circled up with her trusted crew and let the shade fly behind the scenes. Insiders say Mona started hinting, real casual-like, that certain cast members had been playing both sides for years. Yep, folks who smiled on camera were turning around and pulling power plays in private. And that little whisper, it set the whole love and hip-hop universe into chaos. Suddenly, people on set were looking at each other sideways. Trust flew straight out the window, and loyalty? That was nowhere to be found. Mona reportedly told her producers that she was watching everybody now. Scripts being edited, contracts under review, and all them sneaky ones flagged. And get this, the scene Kirk and Rasheeda ruined left production with zero usable footage. Hours of setup wasted. That's when Mona said, That's it. Within 24 hours, she pulled the team into a closed-door emergency meeting. Legal was there, showrunners were there, and Mona came locked and loaded. Receipts? She had them. Screenshots, missed calls, proof of broken clauses. She laid it all out. Internal memos flew straight to the VH1 execs, and the way they described Kirk and Rasheeda, non-cooperative, disruptive, straight-up liabilities, and that dreaded corporate word popped up in big bold letters: insubordination. That's right, this wasn't just one bad shoot day. It was about a whole pattern of disrespect, broken promises, and lost money. And just like that, Mona gave the green light. Terminate their contracts, effective immediately. No final warning, no big reunion moment, no long-winded monologue under dramatic lighting, just gone. And guess what? They didn't even get a proper farewell post. Not one thank you for your time, nothing. And honestly, that silence was loud. Kirk and Rasheeda always carried themselves like they were above the franchise, like they were doing Mona a favor by sticking around, but baby, behind closed doors, they were just as messy as the rest, if not worse. Rasheeda reportedly acted like the show was just one big ad for pressed ATL. Wanted the camera time, but none of the chaos. Sis, this is love and hip hop, not QVC. And Kirk, he showed up late, cut shady side deals, and treated the production team like they worked for him. His energy gave, "I'm the main character," when really, he was on borrowed time. Now that they've been cut loose, instead of owning their mess, they're out here playing the blame game, throwing shade at producers, and acting like victims. Like, come on now. You had the spotlight, the fan base, and the storyline. But instead of keeping it cute and contractual, you got greedy and tried to flip the script, and it backfired. But here's where it gets juicy. Is the rest of the cast safe? Some are breathing a sigh of relief, but others, they're sweating. Because Kirk and Rasheeda weren't the only ones pushing boundaries. Take Spice, for example. Word on the street is she's been tight with production ever since her near-death health scare, saying the show's been twisting her storyline and turning real-life trauma into reality TV mess. And honestly, fans agree. She doesn't even need love and hip-hop anymore.
In the studio with a big book in her hand, and she told me she wrote the song in the car. You know what I like? I don't see nobody in here. You're writing your own.
She's been riding with the franchise since flip phones were a thing, and people are starting to say she's just recycling old drama. Still showing up, but barely hanging on. And if Mona's cutting folks for causing trouble and overstaying their welcome, Spice might be next in line.
And so I apologize for that part. What I'm not gonna apologize for is how I feel. So I'm gonna tell you how.
So let me tell you why you telling me how you feel. You up when you up.
But don't even get me started on Love and Hip Hop Miami, because Trina, sis been clocked out for like 2 whole seasons now. Barely showing up, barely speaking, just collecting them checks. And Pinky Doll? Who? That casting choice got people still scratching their heads like, who said she was ready for TV? That one speaks for itself. Now everybody's saying the franchise is on the edge of a full-blown shakeup, and Kirk and Rasheeda getting the boot might just be the first domino to fall. But let's take it back to the streets real quick, because once this mess hit the timeline, the fans, they didn't just gossip, they got deep with it. Some are riding hard for Rasheeda, real hard. One user said, despite everything Kirk has done, cheating, lying, disrespect, the Jasmine baby drama, that mess been their only storyline for the past 8 years. They added that Rasheeda forgave him, tried to move on, and yet Mona's crew kept dragging her back into that same tired cycle every season. Why she gotta keep reliving that mess for a storyline? The fan asked. It's tired, it's trauma, and it's just not fair. And honestly, that hit different. A lot of people are finally seeing the bigger picture. The conversation's shifting now. Folks saying love and hip hop has made a whole empire off black pain, recycling heartbreak, family drama, and betrayal for ratings and coins. Rasheeda standing up and saying she's done. Suddenly she's called difficult to work with. Huh? Another person online added, let's be real, I think they already quit before Mona tried to play it like they were fired. They went on to say that Rasheeda's tired of being dragged through the same storyline over and over again. She got every right to set boundaries, they said.
When you've been married for going on 25 years and been in a relationship with somebody who you've lived your life with, you got things to think about before you throw everything away.
But now it ain't just about Rasheeda and Kirk anymore. People are dragging Mona too, calling her out for pretending she's the only reason love and hip hop ever blew up, like she's some TV mastermind. But the internet, it remembers the real origin story. Let's take it back. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin were the ones who pitched the OG concept. Back when reality TV was still figuring itself out, they came with a vision about life behind the scenes in hip hop. They brought it to Mona. And what happened? Sis flipped it into a whole franchise, but never circled back with proper credit, proper checks, or royalties. To this day, Jim says he and Chrissy never got paid a dime off the empire that love and hip hop became. Never got their slice. Just watched from the sidelines while Mona turned their idea into a money machine with spin-offs, tours, merch, everything.
He was like, sure, let's do it. Let's come up with the whole synopsis and the premise and everything. And that's what we did. We came up with the whole thing and the name, and she involved Emily, and that's how you got love and hip hop.
So when Mona popped up on her confessionals talking slick like I built this empire, the internet did not let that fly. Folks came swinging with receipts saying Mona didn't build anything from scratch. She allegedly took the original concept of love and hip hop from Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin, flipped it, franchised it, and never cut them in. Not a check, not a credit, not a thank you. Just snatched the idea, ran with it, and called herself the mastermind. One person said it straight. She perfected someone else's vision and made herself the queen of drama. And let's not forget the time Mona said on record, "At least I feed them." Say what? Fans were like, feed them? Like what, is this Animal Planet or something? They dragged her across timelines. That gave Zookeeper energy, not executive producer. It was giving Muppets on strings, not real cast members with real lives and real stories. People were fed up with that whole tone, like the cast should be thankful for crumbs while the network gets rich off their trauma. Now here's the twist. If Kirk and Rasheeda really were trying to break away and start something new on their own terms, some fans actually support it. They're saying maybe, just maybe, they're ready to tell a story without being puppets for Mona's chaos. But let's talk legacy real quick, because some folks truly believe Kirk and Rasheeda thought they were love and hip hop, like the show couldn't breathe without them. One fan had the internet in tears when they said Kirk and Rasheeda think they're love and hip hop, but really? Sometimes people look like icons just because they've been around forever, not because they did anything iconic. Not them calling them old and tired, but that's a bar. Because let's be honest, they lasted, sure, but were they evolving? Or just replaying the same heartbreak rerun every season like clockwork? Fans got tired of watching Rasheeda cry over Kirk's cheating for the 27th time, and even more tired of pretending like this time might be different. Spoiler alert, it never was. So now that they're officially gone, everybody, even Mona, might need to take a look in the mirror. Because with Kirk and Rasheeda out, there's a big gap to fill. Like them or not, they were staples of the franchise. People watched just to see if Rasheeda was finally gonna dip out on Kirk. She didn't. But the drama always delivered. Now that they've dipped, Mona's allegedly moving fast, trying to patch things up. Insiders say she's working overtime to bring in fresh, younger, and way messier faces. Think TikTokers with viral breakups, influencers with secret baby daddies, and maybe even couples with ongoing social media beef. She's looking for clout, mixed with chaos and fast. But here's where Mona might fumble. Fans ain't dumb anymore. They can smell scripted drama, fake fights, and recycled storylines from a mile away. All these "he cheated, now she's crying" arcs played out. Viewers want real, not reruns. And here's the thing, the streets want fresh drama, not recycled pain. So if Mona can't level up and give the people something new without dipping into the same old trauma soup, this whole franchise might start feeling expired instead of iconic. Fans are tired of watching the same heartbreak, same arguments, same sad storylines every season. And with Kirk and Rasheeda out the picture, the show's already looking shaky. Now everybody's asking, what's next for this wild duo? Well, rumor has it, they're shopping their own show. Yep, word is they're out here pitching to streaming platforms and Black-owned networks. Think BT Plus, Zeus Network, or even OWN. And they're not just talking messy love triangles anymore. They want to center the show on their businesses, like Pressed ATL and Frost Bistro, plus the growth they claim they've been doing off camera. Growth where though? Still, let's not lie, they got name recognition, a loyal fan base, and folks who've been rooting for Rasheeda to find her peace since season 1. Some fans are tired of watching her suffer, and others are just curious to see if Kirk can go one full season without messing up. So if they spin it right, they might just flip the narrative and finally control their own story instead of being edited by Mona and crew. But now, it's your turn to talk because this whole saga got the whole internet fired up. So tell me this, was Mona wrong for firing them, or did she just do what should have been done 5 seasons ago? And be honest, if Kirk and Rasheeda dropped a new reality show, would you actually tune in? Or is it giving, let that ship sail? Plus, let's really keep it real. Is Love and Hip Hop even worth watching without its most chaotic couple? Or is it just giving washed and worn out? Drop those hot takes in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you've ever yelled at your screen during a Kirk and Rasheeda scene. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a drop. Because baby, I've got more tea to spill than Pressed has wigs. See you on the next one, my stars and hushers.